24-year-old Colleen Ritzer is going to take a break at the restroom. She's a teacher at a local high school, but one of her students has sinister plans for her. She enters the restroom thinking she's going to return back shortly. Again, he has different plans for her. This student leaves the class, covers his head in a hoodie, appears to put on gloves, approaches the restroom, and what appears to be one of the most sinister attacks this town has seen in years. After this student was finished in the restroom, he left down the hall to go and change, trying to hide his face with a hoodie as if no one would know who he was. He went outside, down the stairs, with the weapon in hand, came back in different clothing, with a ski mask on his head. Was this premeditated? He retrieved a trash can while he was outside to put Colleen in. He went inside the bathroom, retrieved the teacher's lifeless body after assaulting her. Trash can in hand, he casually strolled through the school as if he was just taking out the trash. Yes, this 14-year-old passed by onlookers. This piece of trash strolled Colleen in a bin. Let's watch this again. Teen suspect in murder of teacher Colleen Ritzer left hate note next to her staged body, according to NBC News. Look, you can see that he's come right out almost instantly as she left. Is he putting on gloves there? I think so. We're going to read the article later. Poor Colleen. She's out to take a quick bathroom break, and she will never return to her classroom or home again. This monster. Welcome back. Welcome. Today we have a great show. We're talking docket watching. We're talking Sarah's eviction. We're talking drama, text messages, lunch. We're hanging out in the kitchen at Lowell. A plethora of emotions are going to be evoked in this episode. I hope you have your medical snacks ready. Let's get this party started. According to NBC News, the 14-year-old teen suspect in the murder of teacher Colleen Ritzer left a hate note. The 14-year-old boy accused of slitting the throat of the math teacher in the school bathroom left a chilling note that said, "I hate you all," near her sexually staged body. This is disgusting, despicable. Detectives believe that Philip Chisholm planned the gruesome murder of Colleen Ritzer, 24. Poor baby. She was only 24 years old. I have a 21-year-old. Wow. Because he came to the school that day with a box cutter, a ski mask, gloves, and multiple changes of clothing, which we just saw on the video. In requesting a warrant of Chisholm's home, a state trooper laid out a detailed chain of events from Chisholm getting upset with the teacher to the teen telling an officer that the blood on the blade came from, quote, the girl. He also revealed that another student may have walked in on the crime in progress but hurried away after getting a glimpse of someone partially unclothed and a pile of garments on the floor. Interviews with the student and security video from the school gave investigators a timeline of Chisholm's and Ritzer's movements at the end of the day on October 22nd. At the last class period, they were in a second-floor classroom with another student for some extra help. Bless her heart, poor baby. She was pretty much helping some students after class. Pardon me, I'm getting choked up. As teachers do, most of our teachers who care about shaping the future, which are our children, and she was betrayed in the worst way. I can't believe this. Okay, so she's helping the kids after school. They are on the last period of the day, which is why the school is so empty as we see on the footage. The other student told police, quote, that at some point Miss Ritzer mentioned Tennessee. She said that Philip became visibly upset after she mentioned Tennessee. What? She said that Mrs. Ritzer became aware that Philip was getting upset about her talking about Tennessee. She said Miss Ritzer later changed the topic. The significance was not completely clear, but Chisholm had recently moved to Massachusetts from Tennessee, where his parents were going through a, quote, stressful divorce, relatives told police. Could her mentioning Tennessee had triggered him? No, he had this planned, just like detectives said. This effing POS. Just before 3 p.m., the popular teacher left the classroom and headed back to the restroom. Just before 3 p.m., this is so upsetting. Just before 3 p.m., the popular teacher left the classroom and headed to the restroom. And 1 minute later, Chisholm followed her inside with a hood over his head, pulling on gloves, said the police. Law enforcement sources have said her throat was slit from behind. 11 minutes after Chisholm tailed Ritzer into the bathroom, another student opened the door, but quickly hurried away. She later told investigators she thought she had walked in on someone getting changed. Sidebar, the article says this was a popular teacher. I'm pretty sure that student is so torn up about that. She maybe could have saved that teacher's life or alerted someone or been a victim as well. She too, if stepped further in that bathroom, could have been a victim very well, easily. He was in full killer mode. Chisholm soon left the bathroom, returning less than 10 minutes later with a green recycling bin and wearing different clothing. When he left at 3:22 p.m., dragging the barrel, he was wearing a black ski mask, police said. After leaving the building, sidebar, this is what nightmares are made of. Another thing to piggyback on the young woman stepping into the restroom. What's chilling about that is his demeanor must have been so calm that she thought someone was just changing or helping someone change clothes. She wasn't even alerted that he was literally slicing a teacher's throat. Does that indicate to you that he did have this plan? Just the calmness of it all? So eerie. Let's start from the beginning. Rewind that back. Chisholm soon left the bathroom, returning less than 10 minutes later with a green recycling bin and wearing different clothing. When he left at 3:22 p.m., dragging the barrel, he was wearing a black ski mask. After leaving the building with the barrel, he returned about a half hour later, changed clothes, visited his locker and the scene of the crime, and walked out. When he didn't go home, a missing persons report was made, and hours later, Ritzer's parents reported her missing. Chisholm was found shortly after midnight, walking on a highway. What? This is insane. 14 years old. The police officer who searched him found the box cutter and asked him where the blood on it came from. The girl, he answered, according to the documents. The girl. This was a 24-year-old young woman. But she was a baby. She was someone's baby. 24? He also had Ritzer's credit cards and a pair of her underwear. He initially said he had found them, then said he had taken them from her car, according to the affidavit. Hours later, police searching the woods near the high school found Ritzer's body under some leaves. She was naked from the waist down, and her body had been staged in a provocative manner. Rest in peace to this sweet girl. An indictment said, trigger warning, Chisholm had assaulted the 24-year-old teacher with an object. Chisholm, a standout on the school's junior varsity soccer team, was charged as an adult under the jail with murder and aggravated RAPE and robbery as a juvenile offender. He has pled not guilty. How could he plead not guilty? This is so heavy. Evil really walks amongst us. So I initially, I love to share stories with you guys. So I saw this clip of the student in the restroom with the teacher. Something about the story just made me want to dig a little deeper. And that's when I found the article that I had to come and call you guys and share. I'm glad I did. It just gave us so much more context. Now, according to the article, the boy's mother is heartbroken for Ritzer. The slain teacher's family released a statement after the indictment was filed. Quote, "We are devastated and heartbroken by the details of the horrific circumstances surrounding the death of our beautiful daughter and sister, Colleen. As a family, we continue to mourn Colleen's passing and ask that the media respect our privacy during this very difficult time." Shout out to the educators of the world. You all are trailblazers, often second parents. Can you imagine? No, how could you? 1 minute you are helping some students after school, giving your time, take a bathroom break and never make it back. 24 years old. This POS is a complete monster. My apologies. This is a 14-year-old child we're talking about. His mother even said she was heartbroken. But how do you miss the signs of something so sinister? Well, switching gears, shout out to Quite Puzzled. Quite Puzzled from the Sarah Boone Facebook group, and an honorary shout out to Seth. Hey Seth, I see you down there in the comments. Thank you for hanging out. Also, Kevin, shout out to you too. Kim, 101077, Doug and Jennifer. Okay, I can go on forever. Quite Puzzled left us a list, you guys. Can I ask my list? She left us a list, and some of us may be dealing with someone with these signs. Let's see. A narcissist checklist. I think I'm dealing with a covert narcissist right now. But that's a whole different kitty. Know that. Okay, so this narcissist checklist, number 1, two-faced, critical of others behind their backs. 2, blames others for failures. 3, acts differently in public and private. 4, unreliable. 5, superior attitude. 6, lives in fantasy world of, get this. Lives in a fantasy world of PORN, affairs, and dreams of fame. This fits Sarah to a T. 7, distorts facts to suit own agenda. 8, irresponsible with money. Sir, I have no money. 9, only emotionally available when wants something. I'm trying to get everything I can before it's all gone. 10, lacks sympathy for others. Why is this happening? Was it yesterday? 11, controlling. Oh, yeah, if he wants to use the phone, he just asks me, Sarah, can you unlock the phone? Here, yeah, go right ahead. It's on the kitchen counter. 12. Provokes people, then blames them for a fight. I know how much vodka was in that bottle. Enough for 2 people to have a good time. 13. Cannot admit mistakes. Currentistically, Sarah Boone is still waiting for her successful appeal. Know that. Are you dealing with anyone that sounds even a scintilla kin to anything on this list? The superior attitude, the unreliableness, the blaming others for failures, lack of sympathy. I know narcissism is kind of trendy right now, but I really think I'm dealing with a covert narcissist right now. If anyone in the chat knows how to combat that, let me know.
That's what I ended up doing, and then she moved right down the street here, so.
And how long would you say the alcoholism has been a part of her life?
Well, I mean, it's always been a part of her life. It seemed to have gotten worse and worse. I think more or less kind of since we had Lucas. And I think a lot of it was the fact that she kind of, I guess, maybe felt trapped or something.
Okay.
That, I mean, before that, I mean, whenever she wanted, you're outside having a drink, oh, I want to go play pool, you go over across the street, you play pool for a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not happening anymore when she got a kid.
Right.
So.
How old's your son?
He is 9. So, but I mean, she started just getting really angry when she drank a lot. She said last night she fell asleep. There were plenty of times where she just basically passed out from drinking. So,
Danielle, is the judge still working on the order? Do you think it was done long ago but kept private for some reason? So, a lot of you seem to think that. I too would be inclined to think that as well if this option on the docket wasn't available. Let's show you. You see here, document status, public, non-public, VOR, confidential, sealed, pending, request. This is what I've been telling you guys about when I've said, even if it was sealed, we should get some type of notice on the docket. It is strange, I will admit. One of you in the chat said, hey, once Sarah was late with her world tour closing arguments, that they called it a closing joke, with her closing joke, Judge Jackson was no longer bound to the whole 14-day thing. What do you guys think about that? Since Sarah was late with her closing argument, Judge Jackson didn't have to stick to the 14-day return. Instead, this person believes that Judge Jackson is trying to figure out how to press charges against Sarah for perjury. Yes.
You have. And I appreciate that. Okay, and you go.
I mean, apparently she went back inside. Keeps on trying to come over to like hang out or something like that, or she'll come over to.
Just like I told the other chef, they're gonna come and coming.
If you,
I want you to know that. Look.
if you're in fear, are you talking about
Yes.
family?
Yes.
Okay. So
I want you to know I am full blown. They're gonna come and tell me.
Is my motion for contempt also included at some point?
No, ma'am, I've already dealt with the motion for contempt dealing with the application. Again, I told you what the issues were that we're here on today. You may continue, but let's talk about those issues. What do you intend to present as your evidence and your position regarding the relocation proposed parenting plan and the modification of child support, the modification of alimony, and the request for sole parental responsibility? Those are the issues that we're dealing with right now.
Yes, Your Honor. I was asking in regards to the motion for contempt in regards to alimony that does not have a judgment and has been continued up to this point. That was my question for the motion for contempt.
All right, ma'am, continue with your opening statement.
Has the court received my exhibits, please, Your Honor, that I sent?
We're not talking about exhibits right now. We're talking about your outline, your overview of what you intend to present to the court today.
Whatever my case law and my exhibits that I'm hoping that you all receive.
You can continue with your opening statement.
Nobody knew George better than I did. I say that I knew George better than himself. And I tried in every way, shape, and form. Ask everyone. I helped him. I took care of him. I miss him a lot, and I didn't even sleep last night. I miss him a lot.
I mean, is there any chance it got to be too much for you and you couldn't handle taking care of him and
I never stopped.
trying to...
I never stopped. That's what I'm here for. I never stopped. I'm here now because I'm still trying to help him.
Yeah.
Other than what I've actually already said, Your Honor, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing, to be honest with you. So
Here, I'll stop for just a minute. Let me give you some guidance, okay? They are requesting that you have one visitation per month with the child and one phone call per week. What do you intend to ask this court for as far as contact with the child?
Okay, yes, please, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull that from my pre-trial statement. Thank you, Your Honor. My request that I put in my pre-trial statement were to have daily telephone calls, if I would like to have them, with my son, which he would like to have as well, personal space, and funds already added to the phone, so there's no interruption, please. Tablet credit for he and I to be able to correspond with one another and utilize the features of the tablet to stay in communication. Virtual visits on the kiosk. The in-person visits, I put 1 to 2 per month with a maximum allowable time afforded by the correctional facility, please.
You're saying 2 in-person, hold up, stop. I just want to make sure I understand. You're requesting 2 in-person visits for the maximum time allowed?
1 to 2.
Okay, you can continue. I just wanted to make sure I understand you. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. I would like to be included in all holidays, including schooling holidays and any other time the minor child would like to include me. I would like to compel the petitioner, please, to include me in any decision-making regarding the minor child. To enforce communication, regular correspondence of the petitioner with me in all available options, including phone calls, tablet messages, letters, third-party representatives, any manner necessary, please, that I request, so we can communicate between one another, which has been a huge problem in this entire process. And to please keep the respondent, myself, updated regarding the minor child's proposed vacations, appointments, meetings, any happenings in his life, so I can be included. To please enforce perpetual cooperation of the petitioner with myself in order to simplify, relieve, prevent all and the son, and please to stop his intentional lack of, which he has been doing so throughout this entire case. To please cooperate and just try to simplify things. Include me.
All right, I get the gist of that. They're also requesting that the alimony of $1,000 per month be terminated. What is your position on that?
Please, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull my paper.
Okay, switching gears. Now, let's talk about how we lost one, you guys. Here, you'll see. There's a message on the screen where one of my former people left a message. He says, Danielle, your last video silenced me by mistake. Isn't that supposed to not be possible for a mod? I responded, hey, happy face, that wasn't a mistake. The chat was getting hot, so I reset things to keep it focused on Lana and Sarah. Thanks for hanging out! Exclamation. I know you're wondering, how did we get here? Well, I'll tell you. So last week when Sarah and Lana, As the World Turns, continued, where Lana's brother dropped text messages between the two of them, indicating some things about Lana's involvement. So a lot of us were just frazzled. Our key buds. A lot of us were excited. There were a plethora of emotions flowing. I'll tell you, my keyboard is still dripping. Now, nonetheless, as we're hanging out on the back porch, enjoying each other's company, no one's laying a hand on anybody, I notice in the chat, things are getting a bit fractious. There were a few of you saying like, hey, can you chill with the attacks, dude? Relax. Maintaining focus. Shout out to Bossy Tuba, Detective Woe Buffett, Addie is me, my girl, PSR 076. A lot of you were in the chat that day. So I noticed Detective Woe Buffett, she says, hey, can you please stop with the TTC attacks? Bossy weighs in and gives her opinion on the Lana and Sarah saga. She says, I will say this. Even if Lana was a schemer, Sarah made her pay for it. Know that. I totally agree, Bossy. Rest in peace to Lana and George. Know that. From the outside looking in, watching Sarah discard people causes nothing but heartache and pain, heartache and pain. No malicious, no malicious. So the chat gets a response. The one that we lost says, hey, if TTC being nice to her makes you not use your logic, especially since she never said she was a good person, that's ridiculous. Referring to TTC never saying that Lana was a good person or something of that effect. But now, if you're my people, you know, it's not the comment. We show up to class with our snark. You have to have very thick skin over here and be willing to have healthy debates. That's just how we party on the back porch. Okay, I think this is where I come in at. Now, we hang out on the back porch, have our differences of opinions, or agree on things. Nonetheless, nobody should lay a hand on anybody. We're all just trying to have a good day. So I deleted that comment. And we kept hanging out, having medical snacks, enjoying our time. But then there was another and another and another comment after comment. So I was working overtime. Delete, delete, delete. Right? Are you tracking? So we wrap it up. Everyone leaves the townhome. I'm cleaning up the back porch when I hear a knock. Here is the one we lost. He says, Danielle, you silenced me on purpose? The closest to any type of craziness in the chat, two people said Lana is good if TTC likes her, and I said that's not a way to judge. You gotta think for yourself. I didn't even talk bad about TTC or bring her up to begin with, nor was she the topic. Wow, you silenced me. That's so effed up. Oh. Before I could respond, the one we lost responds again. He says, that means you were talking to me when you said reject. He continues, wow, you're a nice, loyal friend. Goodbye. But then again, he says, comes back. You called me a reject after calling me your top mod? That's just disgustingly unloyal, and I don't know why you put a smiling emoji. What a disappointment you turned out to be. Now, number one. You guys know that I was a little disappointed that he wasn't impressed with my emoji. You guys know that I love emojis. But I really don't think he realizes that we're having multiple conversations, and reject has been one of my absolute faves as of late. So as responding to multiple people, maybe he took that towards himself. Nonetheless, that's how we lost one. I enjoy the snark. I enjoy the differences of opinions. You guys know that I welcome it. It cracks me up in the chat. Sometimes you guys even get my ducks in a row. Nonetheless, I don't want to see anyone laying a hand on each other. You know what I mean? And to the one that we lost, the happy face meant just that. It was a happy face. I was trying to let you know that it was no malicious. Know that. I'm rambling. You guys let me know in the chat if you're tracking. Whew, that was juicy, right? I have another juicy story for you too. For now, let's switch gears. Reject! I saw a comment from, let's see, Kyle Hanna 4885. Hey Kyle. Kyle said, so Lana had an aunt who drunk / murdere someone and still volunteered to be Sarah's minion? What? I think the aunt did like 8 years in prison for that. If any of my people know anything about that, let us know in the chat. Kathleen says, hey Kathleen, Boone never had cancer. If she had cancer, she would have mentioned it during trial to get sympathy from the jury. Boone's mom died from, and she says, mum. Are you from the UK? Boone's mom died from cancer, and according to her, her grandfather died from diabetes. Shout out to the diabetics. Surprise, Boone claims to have had 2 diseases that 2 of her relatives died from. I think she is claiming those illnesses because she knows the symptoms and treatment journey. Kathleen, are you thinking like stolen valor? Stolen illness? Kathleen goes on to say, also, as a vegetarian, the thing that is wrong with the vegetarian diet is that people think all cheese is vegetarian friendly. Most cheese is not vegetarian friendly. One of the ingredients in cheese is enzymes, which refers to rennet. Rennet is made from the 4th stomach lining of the calves, lambs, or kids, baby goats, not human kids. Shout out to my big sister, Cheryl. If you're listening, you've always corrected me when I said kids. Danny, kids are baby goats. Those are children. Okay, where were we? Lambs or kids, baby goats, not human kids, LOL. But some rennet can be microbial rennet, which is vegetarian friendly. Tillamook cheese is very vegetarian friendly. Cheese melt, which is an Aldi version of a block of Velveeta. It's vegetarian friendly. Velveeta brand actually is not vegetarian friendly. Per my research on salt, sodium is essential in hot climates to replace electrolytes lost through sweat, aid hydration, and prevent heat-related illnesses. Why is this important? Because we're headed over to the kitchen at Lowell. Let's get this party started. All right, shout out to you guys down in the chat. Replay crew, you know we can't do it without you. Trophies and blue hearts in the chat. Now, we are starting on the religious vegetarian diet side that Kathleen was just referring to. It's not that exciting. Pretty much the same items recycled. However, they do get more fresh fruits and vegetables. Well, in my mind, they're fresh fruits. What if they're like a fruit cup? Negative, positive earned. For breakfast, every day, peanuts butter, cold cereal. This time we'll have a bagel, jelly, margarine, coffee, sugar, breakfast beverage. That's a positive earned. I'm not sure if the peanut butter is expected to go on the bagel. Oh, maybe a peanut butter and jelly sandwich out of a bagel. Peanut butter, cold cereal, bagel, jelly, margarine. Yeah, peanut butter and jelly bagel. What do you guys think? For lunch, surprise, mackerel, canned beans. We know beans are a staple at the facility on both sides of the menu. They have beans daily, sometimes 3 times daily. Carrot sticks, saltine crackers, margarine, mustard, beverage, and salt. Negative earned. Dinner, canned beans, zucchini, dressing, bread, margarine, and orange, beverage, and salt. Canned beans, zucchini, dressing, bread, margarine, and orange. Oh, you guys, what can we make with that? That a prison charcuterie board? Come on, let's head over to the other side of the menu, the regular side of the kitchen. Looks like for breakfast this time they're having scrambled eggs, buttery oatmeal, of course, tortillas. Sounds like a breakfast burrito type of thing, kind of thing. Citrus sunrise, coffee, breakfast beverage, shredded cheese, sugar packs, no alternative. I guess that is not a breakfast burrito. Maybe a cheese and egg quesadilla? That's if these gals have any heat. Sidebar, do you guys remember in the behavior notes when Sarah was telling the correctional officers that the girls had plug-in heaters, the portable heaters? It was apparently a fire hazard and the facility was being inspected that day. Now, I agree with Sarah. Those things can be flammable nonetheless. Can you imagine if all of the girls got their heaters taken away because Sarah told on them? I'm dancing with the dogs. Public enemy number 1 she would be. Okay, so for lunch we're having buffalo chicken patty. All right, we're back to the patties. Potato salad, pickled chips, bread, a cookie, mayo, mustard, fortified tea, and cheese as an alternative. 3 ounces of cheese. Now, Kathleen just told us that all cheese isn't vegetarian friendly. What do you guys think about that? But, what is a buffalo chicken patty? I think I have something in mind. Let's see. Okay, I'm definitely taking the one on the top to the right. And there's one there for my vegetarians too. Now, the question is, do you think this is what Sarah's buffalo chicken patty looks like? Oh, let me know below. Now, today's dinner seems really interesting. Oven fried breaded fish patty, cheesy grits, dried beans, green beans, 2 slices of bread, tartar sauce, fortified beverage, and that sounds like a positive earned. I'm not sure if it's just the way they are writing this, but that seemed like a good meal. Fish breaded patties, maybe like a filet-o-fish or fish and chips type of deal. Then you have green beans. Then you have dried beans, which are probably the pinto beans is which they're referring to. 2 slices of bread, cheesy grits, fortified tea, and beans as an option for vegetarians. That sounds definitely like a positive earned. Are you guys eating it separately? Are you making a sandwich with the 2 slices of bread? What do you think? If I ever make it, shaking my head, SMH. Next, list of requests. Shout out to everyone who has been enjoying the food post in our community tab. I love hearing how each of us like to cook different and eat different. Know that. Now, shout out to my boots on the ground out in Florida next to the Torres family. There was some police activity recently at the Torres family's house. or at least near the Torres family's house. So there were about 5 or 6 cars there. We hope everything was okay. Shout out to my boots on the ground and the email crew, all of you. Thank you for everything. Know that. Speaking of police activity and the authorities and all of that kind of thing, we're going to go over Sarah's eviction notice from when she got arrested for killing George. So it reads, big shout out to Quite Puzzled, one of my faves from Facebook. Quite Puzzled says, Danielle, this has a lot of information regarding her eviction notice and more. Enjoy. We are dancing with the dogs, Quite Puzzled. Shout out to you and the rest of the crew over there on Facebook. Okay, it reads, shout out to Melissa, the alleged crooked apartment manager who allowed Sarah to continually lock George out, kick him out, lock his things in, pretty much holding his items hostage, his heirlooms hostage, knowing he was a paying tenant. Negative earned, Melissa. So, the complaint for tenant eviction reads, plaintiff sues defendants, shout out to Sue Opper, and alleges count 1, eviction. Oh, this is an action to evict a tenant from property in Orange County, Florida, commenced under authority of Part 2 of Chapter 83, Florida Residential Landlord and Tenants Act, and Chapter 51, Summary Procedure of Florida Statutes. 2. Pursuant to the attached lease agreement, defendants have possession of the residential property described as follows. And it lists the address, France Court, France Lane, France Court, apartment number 3. You know, Sarah makes sure she specifies that. Winter Park, Florida. 3. Plaintiff is the owner/landlord of the subject property and its common areas and grounds. Shout out to Daryl Brooks. 4. Defendant/defendants violated the lease agreement by number 1, on or about February 25th, 2020, you were arrested for a criminal act that took place on property. This notice is attached to the complaint. I'm fractious. Pardon me. Let's rewind that. On or about February 25th, 2020, you were arrested for a criminal act that took place on property. The notices attached to this complaint are made a part of this paragraph as if copied in full herein. 5. Defendants were served a 7-day notice on non-compliance without opportunity to cure in accordance with the Florida statutes. And it lists the statutes for the violations mentioned above. 6. Plaintiff has elected to terminate defendant's right of occupancy pursuant to defendant's lease agreement. Okay, Melissa. 7. Plaintiff is obligated to pay its attorneys and sidebar, good luck with that one. James Owens is still waiting for his book deal. Let's read that again. 7. Plaintiff is obligated to pay its attorneys a reasonable fee for their services, of which defendants, meaning Sarah, are liable. Are we thinking that Sarah got this actual eviction notice? She was in Orange County by then, in the jail. However, do you think Brian got the eviction notice, which prompted him to go and move the heirlooms and make arrangements for George's family to pick up his items? What do you think? Let me know. Shout out to the Facebook, shout out to Reddit, shout out to the whole community. You guys are the best. Make sure you send me something if you want to share it. No malicious. You can be yourself or anonymous. You can be stealthy you. Switching gears. Shout out to you guys down in the chat. Replay crew, you know what to do. Now, for all of my people who have been hanging out, my sexy people who've been hanging out at Summa Cum Loudmouths, shout out to Dreadful Penny as well. And Trial TV Live. I've hung out with everybody this week watching Corey Richens. Oh, Corey, what are you guys thinking? Is it going to be a guilty or innocent? At the time of this recording, the prosecution and defense have both arrested. We're waiting on the verdict. So we're on verdict watch officially. Leading up to, let's watch this spicy exchange between her slimy legal team and the stoic judge, the ever so stoic judge. I like him. He's like cool as a cucumber, you know? He's like chill. And his voice, I love it. The voice, his demeanor, just has real chill vibes. Kintu Sucroid style. Oh wait, wrong case. Gummy style. No malicious. Ooh, let's switch gears. Are you guys ready to dance with the dogs? Australia has entered the chat. Some of you guys have already had a few interactions with Australia. You know, I have to keep my good eye on Australia. I still haven't figured out who purchased those commissary snacks. Was it P, J, Tina, Australia? A new suitor? Who purchased the snacks? Nonetheless, are you guys ready to get this party started? Dance with the dogs a little? So, this is in relation to family law stuff. Judge Jackson, say it with me. Where are you? Now, Christy P says, yes, SB would have to file a small claim suit for any property dispute. I can't imagine her winning, though. Australia enters the chat. She says, she would 100% win. He scrapped her car without her permission. Then another writer says, Australia, well, maybe you could help her file. You'll need the contract. You'll need the contract. Brian said that he would be power of attorney for all of her things, her heirlooms. Oh, wait, that doesn't exist. Tough titties. Ha ha. Being J580 chimes in and says, Australia, she wouldn't win. There was no contract between Sarah and Brian. Brian had not, if he had not taken the car, it would have been impounded and gone regardless. A court wouldn't even address it. Sidebar, I remember getting so upset with former husband previously on another episode. I was thinking it may have been easier if Brian would have just left everything in the apartment up for Melissa to take care of. Hey, if no one would have claimed the apartment, the townhome, everything would have just been sat out on the curb, right? Brian wouldn't have had to store the heirlooms or her property or scrap her car, right? So who's right? Which one of these gals are correct? Would Brian be responsible for Sarah's car? Would he not be? You guys, please let me know in the chat. I need my legal people to chime in. If someone has property that belongs to you and they relinquish that property without your consent, are they responsible? Or if someone is doing you a favor and you can't retrieve your property and they have no choice but to relinquish it, scrap it. Hey, what's what and how many? Let us know in the chat. Shout out to Politically Incorrect 5802. Hey, Incorrect. One of my top tier commenters for sure. Politically says, we know she was so controlling. She even waited for George during the stupid classes he was forced to go to. She waited inside her car in the parking lot. I really dislike she is given a platform to re-victimize the victims with her vile, quote unquote, journals. full of lies, debunked during trial. She even uses George orbital damage as her own, saying he would do to her what his brother did to him. And she is very proud of being the one who caused that. I really dislike this woman with all my being. Native Libra says, I don't believe any of that story happened, as she was the abuser. She stole the baby's money, period. Have a wonderful day, everyone. And these comments are in reference to the most recent journal episode, where Sarah claims that George stole Brian's son's birthday money that was on the counter. Nonetheless, one of you, I can't remember if you were in the email crew or the replay crew, but one of you said, hey, Danielle, in the journals, she said it was birthday money, but in the tablet messages, she said it was adventure fund money. Good catch. Shout out to my people. This is not a one-woman show. I can't do it without you. Then Alice in Wonderland says, y'all, what if this is just the beginning? What if they helped Lana record her calls with Sarah too? Could you imagine hearing calls between Sarah and Lana? Ooh. Then she comes back with an update to her comment with the agreement that they got the tapes upon her death. I hope they have them, and I hope they release them after their own calls. With Sarah, I mean. Yes, I think I just said that in our previous episode. I think I'm ready for some Lana calls. Sidebar, and what and how many? I've seen some of you in the chat saying that after Judge Jackson comes with her final hoorah for Sarah, her final ride around the judicial system. No, we have the appeal. Well, some of you have said that you are no longer going to follow the case. I've seen a few of you say, once Judge Jackson returns with her final judgment, I'm no longer following Sarah. What? Shout out to you guys in the chat who are true Boonaholics. I think I'll be done once the final call is dropped. Know that. I followed this case for years. Now I've connected with you all. We'll never get, shout out to Summa Cum Loudmouth. She says, Danielle, we'll never get another Sarah Boone. Know that. Alfreda May 9832, one of my top tier commenters. Hey, Alfreda. She says, Sarah's domestic violence aggression in a relationship is emotional, actual, isolation, manipulation, blamed. She blames George for her DV aggression when it all started with Brian, fighting on Brian, leveling the baby alone. She would be at the bar and not with the baby. Brian had to set up work from home because she was not there for the baby. So she has always been a very bad mother to Brian's son. Brian would come home from work with the baby crying and Sarah would be gone. Oh. Shout out to Since Sliced Bread. Hey, Sliced. Since Sliced Bread says, this is Sarah's main relationship. Her and Brian's money. All right. Shout out to you guys down in the chat. We have one more for you. Roberta Real 7980 says, you've interpreted Sarah's fantasy journal perfectly. Whew, I love Roberta. That was Brian's son's birthday money. If George is always stealing from her, why leave cash on the counter? And if she's so offended he bought those items, why is she herself partaking in them? That would mean she too stole the money, right? Hand of one, Sarah. Yes, Roberta. Roberta is referring to the law, hand of one. If one participates, all participates, everybody's guilty. Her description of George as though he's this muscle-bound mountain of a man snarling with steam coming out of his ears and nose. growls as he's ripping off the doors and tossing them aside as though they weighed nothing. Compare that to the video of George, short, skinny, out of breath from swinging the bat a few times to smash an already broken TV. Shout out to Roberta. Are we even talking about the same guy? Even if I wanted to believe her, I can't follow the play-by-play of her non-existent injuries. Shout out to the faux black eye. Then there's the towel she won't use, but she's rinsing and said towel. Whew, you guys were on fire in the chat. I hope everyone had a chance to read through the comments. Okay, Roberta continues. We're still talking about the journals. Then there's the towel she won't use, but she's rinsing out said towel and looking for small band-aids. But she's bleeding profusely. Okay. Moving on. Her townhome sounds amazing. In addition to 2 bathrooms, it has a 360 view from anywhere in the house. What an architectural gem. Sidebar, I think I pointed that out previously on the previous episode when she said that she saw George from upstairs around the corner. Me visualizing the townhome, how did she see that? What an architectural gem that place is, and at only $1,000 per month? Who doesn't love a good bargain? Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, Roberta. Switching gears, shout out to Australia again. Thanks for hanging out in the chat. Some of my fellow straight A students have been wanting to confront your ASS, kind of like Sarah told P to do James Owens. No malicious. But there are some people in the chat that have been having some debates and conversations with Australia, so shout out to you. I know we give you a hard time. I try to keep the ground neutral over here. No malicious. Shout out to Third Rail. I need all of my Third Rail Patreon members to let me know in the chat what's what and how many. Have you guys heard from P&J? We're going to have to send out a missing persons report. Make sure the animals at the barn don't have them cornered. Speaking of P&J, let's go head out on the Third Rail and do a rewind, listen to a quick email before we get out of here. So there was one more email that I want to read to you guys right now. I love how they're like talking shit to I love how they're talking like SHIT to each other. Then they hang up and they start emailing each other to continue the fight. Yes. Keep in mind, this is all happening as we're just hanging out on the back porch, dancing with the dogs, watching footage of Sarah in court, the trial. We're over here just trying to figure things out. They're behind the scenes going crazy. I don't envy any of the associates. Their job was not an easy one. Nonetheless, they all came down here willingly. So let's continue. Fair warning, you are not going to at all like this message. Sorry, but not. Over it, and I honestly don't care. I'm used to nothing and no one. Just another day in prison with cancer. ... Always the short end of the straw after I'm promised all the straws. My life always. I get excited for nothing anymore. Why should I? Life in prison with cancer. No lie. In all seriousness, what is the point to go through it all? Sidebar, and someone over in the editing department at the Third Rail seems to have censored the word that was sensitive, but forgot to censor it out of the subject, so we see that it's cancer. Tisk. Do you guys think they did that on purpose? Oh, the ninjas. All those ninjas. Stealthy they are, aren't they? Okay, where were we? No lie. In all seriousness, what's the point to go through all the anguish of trial, ridicule, embarrassment, shame, otherworldly sadness? For what? To go through all of that again? Maybe 30 years, 20 instead of life? Come on. So I can drudge through my so I can drudge through my 65-year-old life figuring out how to get a car scrapped, a job, murdering felon, somewhere to live, shelter, a relationship with my son. Missed his child life, milestones, high school, driving, girlfriends, soon to be graduation, college, marriage, babies, anything from my dead family's legacy to show son, the heirlooms. They're in the basement at Brian's mom's house. Just go get them, Sarah. Tell LB to walk right downstairs and grab the heirlooms and just have fun with them. Anything from my dead family's legacy to show son existed, auctioned, strangers, have or the garbage, pets, both handicapped dogs died while in jail, money to live, thrive, flourished, lost everything, have no family, no alimony to make my mockumentary with and for you. Hold on. New word alert, mockumentary. I feel like we've read that before, that word mockumentary from her. I love it. It'll probably be the title. No alimony to make my mockumentary with and for you all to drop kick the hornet's nest of publicity and hate, unholiness, disdain all over again. So that is the email following Emergent. It was an Emergent email immediately after Sarah and Julian had their bout on the phone that we just heard on our previous episode. So she was not happy when she hung the phone up. She sent him a message. The subject was fair warning. You're not going to like this. Then she proceeded to tear into him. The nerve of her. Well, these are literally two complete strangers that are trying to help her. Tisk tisk. Now, switching gears back, speaking of strangers trying to help, figuring out why Tina Pruitt would reach out to Sarah. Switching gears, shout out to Summa Cum Loudmouth, Trial TV Live. Corey Richens, her legal team has rested. They are not putting on a defense. Can you believe that? After their last witness, I believe that was Detective O'Driscoll, they rested their case. This is a very bold move. Bold, brilliant, bonkers. What do you think? What gives with the sudden change in defense? They were saying how they had all of these witnesses and experts to testify, thousands of pages of documents of evidence to combat what the prosecution had for Corey, and now they just gave up. Are they trying to set up for an appeal? Even the judge had to ask.
I objected to hearsay. The court ruled that I had opened the door and allowed him to elicit that hearsay evidence.
In fairness, you're skipping.
And allowed him to elicit that hearsay evidence.
In fairness, you're skipping the first step. You opened the door and crossed to this topic.
I just said that.
Right,
that
but I want to be clear.
Okay.
It's not just an allegation that you did. You did.
Okay.
Then Mr. Bloodworth went into it.
Okay, absolutely. I was trying to convey that. I'm sorry if I didn't do it correctly. I was not trying to skip any step. You ruled that I had opened the door. You allowed him to elicit what would typically be hearsay evidence because I had opened the door. Now it's in. Now this witness is sat on the stand. No one's ever told him that Eric used illicit drugs, and that is not true.
Illicit street drugs. Please be precise.
That's what these are. He's claiming...
Well, we don't know one way or the other. Would you like an opportunity to voir dire Cody Wright about that, consistent with the court's motion in limine ruling from January?
I'm happy to voir dire him if it helps the court with your ruling. It is my position that at this point, I'm entitled to impeach him for making a statement in response to the state, elicited by the state, that no one's ever told him Eric used illicit street drugs. Here I have testimony that is contrary to that. I have a right to impeach him on that. I'll voir dire him on whatever you want, but it is my motion now that I be allowed to go into this because the state has put it there. They've put it out there. I have a right to impeach that he just testified falsely and inconsistently with what he said at the prelim. And it's very important, Your Honor.
If he, in fact, said something impeachable, you have the right to impeach him.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm not sure that he did yet. Why don't we get to that point? Mr. Bloodworth.
Your Honor, certainly we can voir dire him. I think if the court reads further down in the preliminary hearing transcript, counsel asks...
You know I don't have that ability, so if you could cite me to it.
Oh, do you not have... I'm sorry.
No. I don't have control over what they're showing me.
I can email it.
If there's a docket entry you want me to look at, I know that it's in the docket.
Sure, it's page 61 that I thought was on your screen. It's on my screen.
So
It is now, yeah.
So at the bottom of page 60, I guess we just read from the middle of page 60.
60, line 15 through 25.
Correct. If
Yeah.
the court keeps reading to the top of page 61, Cody Wright says he has no idea what Red Devils were.
He says prior to that he is very aware that Eric took pain pills in high school. He says that clear as day.
Why don't we just ask him what he knows?
We can, but
Oh, you don't want that. You want to just use this.
I want to use this, and I want to do it in front of the jury. I
But
don't
you
want to
want
give a
to,
chance.
you don't want to just put it in. You want to ask him questions about it, right?
No, I just want to. I want to impeach him with this document only.
You
That's
don't
it.
have any foundation that Red Devils are illicit street drugs, though. So you need that foundation
Pain
for
pills
this.
would be.
But that's not illicit street drugs, and that wasn't the question. This is an important difference. Nobody's asked this gentleman
Your Honor,
or shown that
If you buy pain pills,
please
I'm
don't
sorry.
speak
I'm
over
sorry.
me
I'm
so
sorry.
that you have a clean record.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
If there is an impeachable statement by this witness as to whether he's aware that Eric Richens took pain pills at any point in his life, this would be directly relevant to that. But we need a non-speculative foundation for the idea that Red Devils are illicit street drugs.
So the pain pills that they're talking about, if they are
Who's they?
taken, if that is being referred to in this prior statement, the
Red
pain
Devils.
pills that, well, he says pain pills and then he says Red Devils.
Okay.
So my understanding, according to this, is that Mr. Wright doesn't know what Red Devils are, but that's what they called them in high school,
Seems accurate.
which is clearly saying these were not doctor prescribed, these are illicit drugs that he's using in high school. So
No, there's some distance between a nickname called Red Devils and illicit street drugs. And I don't know what the Red Devils he's referring to are, but it doesn't automatically mean they're illicit street drugs.
if you use pain pills without a prescription, that is illicit street drugs.
It is not. And you know that to be true.
I disagree, Your Honor.
It might be diversion of a prescribed substance, but it's not illicit street drugs.
They've certainly heard testimony from Mr. Crozier that he's selling oxycodone on the street that came from prescriptions. That's illicit street drugs.
I'm not sure you want to take that position going forward, but I don't endorse it in any respect. Certainly, we know that diversion of prescribed legal medication is different than purchasing on the street prescription medication is different than purchasing non-FDA approved substances on the street. There is a range of conduct here, and the question asked by Mr. Bloodworth was specific.
Can we read back? Can we get it read back, what he asked? Do we have the transcript of the exact statement that Mr. Bloodworth just asked him?
State courts do not create transcripts.
I think we have someone doing it live right now.
Corey's her trial has been wild. What have you guys been thinking? Have you been in the chat? Shout out to the sexy people that have been joining up every day this week. Some of you have been doing a great job. If you made it this far, you know I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye!